Okay, some more short videos. I'm afraid I'm no good at long ones. Well, we're on the Blackbird today, and I'm continuing my comparison between this bike and my Generation 2 Hayabusa. And one thing I noticed was that on a bumpy road, the fairing on this one does tend to crash a bit. Sort of makes crashy noises, which is exactly the same as my GL 1500, so of long gone memory. So I guess it's a Honda thing, and that doesn't happen with the Hayabusa. Mentioned before that the mirrors are better on the Hayabusa, but I think over the winter period I might be able to do a bit more adjustment to these handlebars and maybe improve that slightly. I have to say that the handlebar setup on this bike is really rather good, and it does feel more comfy than the 22mm risers on the Busa. Comfort wise, on the motorway there's nothing to choose. I mean, this one doesn't have adjustable forks, and on the Busa I have everything set to a very low level, the lightest level, to improve the comfort. Because, as I said before, this is real world riding, not flat out sort of 175, 190 what's it sort of stuff. So we're looking at real world riding between the two bikes. The motorway's a bit busy today, so I won't be able to do my usual trick of the 80 mph roll on in 6th, which is, you know, how I judge all bigger bikes these days. Obviously this isn't going to come near the Generation 2 Hayabusa on the roll on, but from what I can sort of feel, I could certainly keep up with a Busa in 6th if I change down to 5th, which isn't quite the same. The engine is the main advantage of this bike. It really is the smoothest 4 I have ever ridden. Of course, I've never ridden either of them at high speed, so that might make a difference. Of course, the Busa is infinitely tunable. I mean, you can get double the horsepower with a turbo if that's what you want. Not my cup of tea. Actually, the 6th gear roll on the motorway is quite good. Still not so good as the Generation 1, which was slightly worse than the Generation 2. Brakes wise, I seem to have got used to the link brakes, and if you just use the back brake, I mean, it really does You can feel the front biting. I got used to it on the Goldwing, but that was a different kind of bike altogether, so of course the other thing I like about the Busa is the analog speedos. I suppose that's because I'm more used to that kind of instrument. The speedo is more accurate on the Honda. Both my Busas, the speedos were wildly inaccurate, between 8 and 10% through the range against the GPS. This one is far more accurate. It's pretty much within 5 miles per hour right through to sort of the 90-ish mark. I don't know what it would be above that because it's not really relevant. But I have to say, this is so smooth. I think for any sort of distance, this would be the bike I would choose every time. Right, 80. 6th gear roll on. Right, well that's an indicated 110, which was pretty good. I mean, in real world riding on this sort of road, it's the 6th gear roll on that's most relevant. I think I prefer the looks of the Blackbird too, but then that's an old man speaking, I guess. I absolutely loathe the looks of the modern bikes. I really don't like the look of them. That sort of transformer-ish look is lost on me, I'm afraid. No, I have to say that I like old Hondas. Strange really, because at this time of my life I can have anything I want. I mean, I just like old Hondas. The other thing is this has got a lot of extras on it, for example that the Hornet hasn't got for a similar year, but then the Hornet was always a budget bike. It was designed to be a budget bike, and they did a fantastic job for the price. I can remember that the Hornet was much cheaper than the Phaser. I like the Phaser. I used to like the look of it, and I like the Bandit, the look of the Bandit too, the early ones. I can remember the Bandit 1200, it wasn't mine, but it was a bit of a lump, and the Hornet would be easier to handle for someone my size. With the slightly upright handlebars on this bike, you do get perhaps a bit more buffeting but it has got the bigger screen on this one, so that does help. I guess if you had the standard screen it might be a bit of a problem for high-speed cruising, but this is perfectly okay. I mean, we're doing about 80, which in the real world is about 75. Well, the motorway is a bit slightly busier than normal for a Wednesday, but it's flowing beautifully. I guess it's perhaps because of the rail strike, maybe more people are getting into their cars. Another thing I've put on the bike is a gel pad, which I'd forgotten I had. I bought a gel pad because the seat on the Interceptor was a bit of a plank even compared to this one, and I bought a gel pad, and I just didn't know where it was. I remembered I'd bought it, and I was pretty sure I didn't let it go with the bike. And I was doing a clear up in the garage and I found it, so it fits this bike beautifully. So I thought I'd give it a run. This is the first time I've used the bike with a gel pad, which isn't very big. God knows how these guys drive these HGVs. I've only ever driven a 7.5 tonner, and that was bad enough. No way I could drive one of those.